Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Alex, I got a bone to pick. And usually when I hear Braves fans' negativity, I laugh at it because I know we're going to have multiple months of success that are going to make them look like idiots. But now we're getting towards the end of the season and people are going to talk about over these next 2 weeks because the Braves they're going to have like a week, 10 days off, or no, I guess a week off before they play in the NLDS. Yes, because they got a first round bye. Yes, because they're the best team in baseball. But they've lost 5 out of 6. And all I'm hearing about, oh, their pitching can't do this. Oh, we're playing bad in October. We got to be playing our best baseball. We got to be doing this. We got to be doing that. And it bothers me because there's just a total lack of understanding in all of these arguments. One, look at what the Braves have done over the last week. They've rested several of their starters. Nicky Lopez has been in the lineup every day. We're pitching Kyle Wright in rehab starts. Jared Schuster gets a start. Bryce Elder, who I have said will not get a start in the NLDS, which is going to be the toughest series the Braves face in the playoffs. So people are like, oh, are you worried? I'm like, no, because look what Spencer Strider just did to the Phillies. He just carved them up. He just abused them. It was unbelievable. That guy's going to get 2 starts in the NLDS. You know who else is going to get 2 starts? Max Fried, who's been the best pitcher in baseball when he's healthy. Those guys are going to start 4 of the games. So am I worried? No. And then you want to talk about the bullpen. Listen, bullpen is obviously the worst part about the Braves. There's no one arguing that. But as we've talked about, nobody has a perfect bullpen. Absolutely nobody. Not one single team. Some of the best bullpens aren't even making the playoffs because guess what? They're the least important part of your team. When you have two of the best starters in the game and the best lineup in baseball, I'm going to feel pretty confident. And it's not like the Braves have a bad bullpen. It's just not the deepest unit that we've seen. But then we get Jesse Chavez coming back yesterday. You feel a lot more confident about him. Maybe Kyle Wright looks better over the next 2 starts. And then there's this narrative that you have to be the hottest team in baseball to win, and that the hottest team in baseball, and I get everyone thought the Phillies were not the hottest team in baseball in October. You know who was? The Atlanta Braves. And what happened in October? They got rocked. Like the Braves were the hottest team for 4 months entering the playoffs last year, and they got rocked. We're giving guys rest. We're starting guys that will not be on the mound in the postseason. And we're losing in extra innings and losing to the Marlins when we have a hangover from the division. The last time the Braves played serious baseball, they went into Citizens Bank Park and won 3 out of 4. Like, give it a rest. Give it a rest, guys. Yes, guys are going to have to step up in the bullpen. But are you telling me in 2021 you were super confident about the Braves bullpen? It was terrible. It was terrible all season. And then in October, it was the best thing ever. Same thing you can say about the Phillies last October. They had one of the worst bullpens in the majors over the course of the entire season. But in October, they stepped up. So yes, are guys going to have to step up? Yes, but nothing over this 6-game stretch says they can't do it in October. Yes, they're going to have to do it. And yes, it's scary. And yes, we're going to be biting our nails every time. That's playoff baseball. It was never going to be easy. So people ask me, are you concerned about this? Are you concerned about that? Yes, there's a lot of things I'm concerned about. Because it's playoff baseball and anything can happen. If we play the Marlins in a playoff series, we could lose because it's baseball. But as far as who has the best chance to win, it's the Braves, and it's not even close. They have the best offense of all time. They have 2 of the best. They have the best 1-2 punch going into the playoffs. And those guys get to pitch 4 times in the NLDS while the other team they play isn't rested because they have to play a wild card series. So, no, I'm not worried. We're in the best position we can possibly be. And don't even get me started with everyone chirping about home field throughout the playoffs. We might not even play the Dodgers in the next round. So guess what? We would have home field, even if we hypothetically lost it to the Dodgers. We would have home field if we don't play them. Orioles? What are the odds we play the Orioles in the World Series? Like 5%? You think I'm that concerned with that? We are going to rest players and get them ready for October. The number one concern is everyone being healthy and getting things lined up. Worry about Jesse Chavez. Worry about Kyle Wright. Worry about Nick Anderson. Pay attention to those things. Don't pay attention to wins and losses because we've clinched everything that we need to. We clinched the division. We clinched the first round bye. Give me a break. It's getting insufferable.
You done?
I am.
Yeah, guys, we should be more concerned about the process than the results. That's basically, in as few words, that's what Chase just said. We're looking at the guys that are on the cusp, the guys who could contribute into the postseason. How are they looking? The only difference between the team that just lost 5 of 6 and the team that clinched their 6th straight NL East title some odd weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago, the only real difference is Max Fried's got a little boo-boo on his finger. That is literally the only difference. Everybody's freaking out about these losses, and Chase just mentioned how we're getting guys up that are not even going to be mentioned in the postseason conversation other than maybe Kyle Wright and Nicky Lopez in a pinch, if injuries arise. That's the only thing that we're concerned about right now is figuring out the bottom of the playoff roster. That's what the 10% of the playoff roster, the bottom of the bullpen. Can Kyle Wright contribute? What is Bryce Elder going to give? Is he going to give us a start? Probably not in the NLDS. Is he going to work out of the bullpen? If Kyle Wright doesn't make it, that's what we're concerned about. We're not concerned about, all these other little things. It's crazy that we just put together one of the most magical seasons. I had more fun watching this Braves team than I have in my entire lifetime, and we're complaining about losing 5 out of 6 to 2 teams that are scratching and clawing for wild card spots. That's what we're concerned about while we're pitching guys like Jared Schuster and rehab starts Kyle Wright. The delusion in this fan base is getting to a point of I'm concerned. I'm concerned that you guys haven't really, learned your lesson yet. And it goes even back to the trade deadline. And I'm sorry to bring this up. This is so out of left field, but I keep seeing people talk about, I saw somebody mention this yesterday after Bryce Elder's start. Well, if we had added pitching at the trade deadline, who? I was scratching at my head. I was wondering who was available that is going to be a difference maker more than Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder is the best number 4 in baseball. Maybe he's not the best, but he's right there at the best of the best. The 4th starter, that's who we're worried about. Listen, guys, if that's the reason the Braves are going to lose the World Series, they were never going to win it in the first place. If Bryce Elder doesn't go 6 innings in the playoffs, and that's why we're never going to win the World Series even to begin with. That's the fact. And another fact, I don't care what is going on the bump. I don't care who's on the bump. As long as Max Fried and Spencer Strider are healthy, that's the only thing that matters. Because this lineup can carry Bryce Elder. It can carry a sketchy bullpen. It can carry Charlie Morton. It can carry anybody. It's a historically great offense. It doesn't playoff baseball. Anything can happen. I'm not saying Max Fried's going to go out there and pitch 7 scoreless, but the same goes for the other guys. The other guys have these worries that the Braves don't. Don't you think that everybody would love to have a pitcher like Charlie Morton as their 3rd guy and a guy like Bryce Elder who might not even get a start in the NLDS?
He's not getting a start in the NLDS. He might not even be on the roster, and that's the other thing that frustrates me.
You're right. I'm just saying that, think about you're thinking about things in a perfect scenario when that's not how sports work. The fact of the matter is this is still the same team that you were hooting and hollering about a week ago, that this is the greatest team you've ever seen, 6 straight division titles, the World Series is ours, to now that they've lost 5 out of 6. It's the same exact team. And you're panicking?
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Elder is not getting a start in the NLDS unless someone gets injured, and knock on wood, I hope to God that does not happen. But even if did someone, who's better prepared to suffer an injury? The Braves have done it the entire season. They didn't have Kyle Wright. They didn't have Max Fried for this entire season, and they still ran away with the division by 15 games. They're more prepared than anyone to lose guys because, like you said, the offense can carry them. They still have a guy like Bryce Elder if you need him. Hell, they still have a guy like Kyle Wright who on any given day could show up and be the same Kyle Wright. No one has the starting pitching depth that the Braves do. And when you talk about Max Fried going twice and Spencer Strider going twice in an NLDS series, if you can't win that, if you can't win that, you didn't win. It just sucks.
That's what I'm saying. You were never going to win the World Series if you can't win with those kind of horses. You were never going to win.
If you don't show up, guys are going to have to show up in October.
Everybody has to have guys who show up. It's not the Braves.
If the lineup all of a sudden goes dormant, that happens. It's baseball. It could happen over a 5-game stretch. But the odds of the Braves lineup going dormant compared to another team's lineup going dormant is astronomically different. And that's why you just have to believe and you just have to trust what it is. Because if you at any point thought you were just going to walk to a World Series, you just had unreasonable expectations. The best team doesn't always win the World Series. Even the best team, the Braves they have way better World Series odds than everyone else. It's at 30%. It's not there's no guarantees. But I like our chances over everybody else. And they've got the best setup that they can sit back and relax and just prepare for that series, because I'm telling you, Max Fried twice and Spencer Strider twice with Charlie Morton smack dab in the middle against a team coming off a wild card series that cannot set up their horses. That's the other big part about it. Like, hypothetically, let's say it's the Phillies. They can't go Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, or Ranger Suarez, who Aaron Nola's kind of having a bad year. I still think he's their number 2. They can't go Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. They can't do that because those guys just pitched in the wild card series. So they're going to have to mix things up. They're going to have to go to a 4th guy. The Braves don't have to do it. They get Spencer Strider twice, Max Fried twice, and the same goes for whoever else they might play, whether it's the Diamondbacks or the Cubs or whatever. So just enjoy what you like. Everybody would want to be in our position. Yeah. Everybody wants to be in our position. Everyone's envious of us. So enjoy it and enjoy playoff baseball. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about Jesse Chavez.